Good morning. I want to talk to you today about this natural selection idea through a story. This is a designed kind of as a 7-step story you'll see, and we're going to just go through and tell the story about how rabbits came to have long ears. And this is basically a story based on the concept of natural selection. It's got all the parts, so we're going to follow along. So once all rabbits had short ears. Okay? So I'm going to represent that down here at the bottom by this population down here. And we're going to actually just do 3 of these or 3 of these circles we're going to label with ears, short ears, like that. Okay? So the reason we're not doing 4 is because we have this other step, which is however variation exists. So some rabbits have longer ears than others. And that's because of mutation, right, which we've talked about. That is, we could have a possibility of mutation for a longer ear trait. Or it could be that through sexual reproduction we get the combination of new alleles, and those alleles create a shorter or slightly longer eared rabbit. So we're going to represent that and by sort of dramatically drawing along larger ears, and that's really for the sake of representing this variation. If you make them very small like they would be in nature, it'd be harder to understand what was going on in our drawing. So that's a fiction that we're putting in to our drawing to help us understand, but that's okay. The concept here is the rabbits produce more offspring than can survive. That's one of Darwin's basic underlying ideas in natural selection, is that basically organisms overproduce their offspring. And that's true of like frog eggs. There's a picture of frog eggs. Obviously there's more frogs in that collection of eggs than could possibly survive. And so as a result, there's competition for the various things that an organism needs. In this case, I'm just going to put food. You could put here space or mates even. But you can pick one of these. Let's just say, in this case, we're really going to focus on this part, which is avoiding predators. So the environment, we want to imagine this scenario like this, where there's variation, and under the normal circumstances, this population would just proceed and replicate itself. However, what often happens in an environment is that there's some change. And in this case, we're going to imagine that wolves migrate in. Okay? So imagine there's wolf population that's not in the environment. Now suddenly there is one because they've moved in from another area. Now, we call this new environment a selective pressure, meaning these wolves now are going to select against a rabbit. And it's going to be basically the short-eared rabbits. The rabbits with short ears are now at a disadvantage. And that's because the wolves can, am I spelling this wrong? Yeah. The wolves can now sneak up and kill them, okay? And eat them, basically. So that also suggests that the new environment selects for long ears, meaning the wolves basically here can't sneak up. And as a result, the long-eared rabbits escape the predation of the wolves. So as a result, then, what happens, and we'll draw this way. I'm really good at drawing wolves. Here's my wolf. So this new population moves in, and basically the idea is the wolves end up killing off these guys And these ones, these end up having an opportunity to reproduce. So when I put 4 down here, I don't actually mean 4. I mean that there's a small subset of the population that has this. So there's individuals that can reproduce. It's not just a single organism here. So basically here we say that rabbits will have more long-eared offspring and less short-eared offspring. Remember, offspring means babies. Because basically the long-eared rabbits, or rabbits with long ears, they get a chance to reproduce more often because they're not being eaten as much. And so what happens to this, if this selective pressure is applied over and over again, many generations, right? The wolf population, or the population of rabbits, will evolve to have long ears. And so the way we imagine this, or the way we would represent this, is this subset of the population gets a chance to reproduce. So over many generations, this arrow means many generations, we end up with rabbits with long ears, and that's how we came about. That's how we could say evolution would describe rabbits with long ears. Now, there's a couple of questions on the test that represent sort of a population with a normal curve, sort of like this. So this would be ear size, and this is numbers of rabbits. So you can see there's sort of a normal curve, meaning there's more here, there's fewer small ones and fewer long ones. And the idea is, when you apply this selective pressure, then the ear population, or the population of rabbits, would shift over here because the selective pressure would make the longer eared ones have an advantage. So you'll see this diagram on the level 6 things, and it's just another way of representing this story. So I'm hoping this is helpful to you, and I hope you'll have a chance to take all the notes. Now, one of the things, people looking for challenge stars, there's a pink paper that the sub has, which I don't have in front of me, but essentially it's an opportunity for you to write your own story. And you could come up with your own idea for this story, and I'm going to put up a couple of examples on the Google Classroom of students who did this last year, and they came up with some nice stories. And if this was something of interest to you, this could be something you did in place of dealing with all the level 6 questions on the test next week. All right, thank you and good luck. Oh, last thing. So I'll put this out here like this. I'm going to zoom up. So if you want to stop it and see the entire field of answers or pictures or words on this thing, you can stop it here and maybe get anything you missed.